Welcome, seekers of the unknown, as we pull back the veil between the living and beyond. Unraveling questions that plague our minds, and oftentimes presenting the evidence that may prove them true. Let us take you on a journey where paranormal becomes normal, and where what is right behind you just might be echoes of the afterlife or something more. But fair warning, once you step into the supernatural with us, you might just stay haunted.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Stay Haunted.
Stay haunted.
Stay haunted.
Haunted.
Hello.
Stay haunted.
Stay haunted. My neck looks bad.
So,
beautiful.
Let me start by saying I hope everybody had a great Memorial Day. But most importantly, I hope everybody out there that had a Memorial Day remembers what the true meaning of it was. Right?
Absolutely.
We have Veterans Day to celebrate our veterans that are currently in the service. Veterans that were in the service that stood, gave oath, and said, no matter what you do, you can sleep safe at night, and because I will stand a post and I will protect no matter what my country asks me to do. Now, Memorial Day is to memorize those that actually gave the ultimate sacrifice so that we all may stay free for our country. So I hope you guys took at least a few seconds of silent time on Memorial Day before you cracked the beer, before you fired up the barbecue, and you made sure that you honored those vets that are no longer with us that gave the ultimate sacrifice for their country. So welcome back.
Welcome.
I have to apologize. Miss Audra's not going to be with us tonight. She's not feeling well.
Well, feel better, miss.
Feel better, Miss Audra.
Well, and I think it's a little bit of starting a new job. We spent the last, good God, month and a half packing, loading, moving, unloading, arranging, delivering furniture, getting the house set up. The good news is all we have to do is hang crap on the wall, and the house is done on the interior.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So we are officially moved in. We are officially in Ohio, and I've got to share some shit with y'all.
And close to family.
Close to family. Yes, we have done more in the last 3 weeks since we got here than we have done in the 4 years that we were in North Carolina. Because those of you that don't know Audra and I on a personal level, we moved to North Carolina so we could be within driving distance of Audra's parents, right? And basically, it was just Audra and I in North Carolina. We weren't close to friends. We ended up making friends down there like PPIT and all those guys, but we weren't close to friends. We weren't close to family. It was just Audra and I. We didn't do a whole lot, right? We would go out. We would have fun together. We'd do our local stuff. But we moved up here to be close to family, and I want to share something with you guys. So in the 5 years that we were in North Carolina has all kinds of wildlife. It's a gorgeous state. Don't get me wrong. I love the state. I love the weather. I love the wildlife. We saw deer. We saw raccoons. We saw skunks. We would have to drive. Like when Todd and Carmela came down, we drove them to go see deer not too far from our house. Now, let me share this with you because this excites me. I wake up in the morning, walk out into my living room now, and this is the type of stuff I see. Now, we are in townhomes. We bought a townhome, right? Mainly because they take care of the exterior. Audra and I work a lot. You know, I'm regional ops director for a window company, so I don't have a whole lot of free time. My free time is valuable, especially now that we're with family. But this is what I see in the mornings now.
Pretty much every morning?
Yeah. So I want you guys to watch this video.
So for mama deer?
Yeah, mama deer. So people that don't know this, when a mama deer has a fawn, Early in the morning, she'll put the fawn in the tall grass and she'll leave it there. She'll go feed so she can build up the milk to feed the fawn. And then she comes back to get the fawn when it's time to go home. Well, Mama was having trouble finding the fawn this morning.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah. She's like, where did that kid go? Those kids never listen. They
know.
didn't.
I know I put that child here somewhere.
No, I put that child. See her looking around. But to go back, she eventually found her.
Oh.
And they ran off and went home for the day. I walked out of the bedroom in the morning to get my coffee, turned around, looked out the sliding glass door, and this is what I see. What you see is basically a construction zone, but there's grass and everything growing because they haven't built the other buildings yet behind us. We're the first ones in the villa community. So, but this is phenomenal. We have groundhogs, we have moles, we have baby rabbits, we have mama and daddy rabbits, we have deer in our flipping backyard.
Did you see the video that Chris sent to us in our group chat
Which one?
of that video with the mama deer this morning? I was laughing because Chris, I know you're not going to play because it's like a minute and a half, almost minute 45. I was laughing because I texted him back. I'm like, oh, how nice, sweet. And then I was laughing my ass off because at the end, Chris takes the phone and then he pans down. And then there's this little rabbit sitting right on the concrete patio. And it's like looking at him like, and the first thought that popped into my head is like, what the F are you looking at, buddy?
Yeah, it is awesome. It is phenomenal. I love North Carolina. It's a gorgeous state, right? The weather's always flipping perfect. It's never too hot. It's never too cold. But we never had that type of stuff in our backyard.
Yeah, I mean, every morning you've been sending us pictures pretty much of like, he's like, up this morning, boop, 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 more live wildlife, groundhog, rabbit.
Yeah. At 11 a.m. on Saturday, I walked up to the sliding glass door and I saw something, or no, it was Friday. I saw something move out of the corner of my eye. I looked over. There's a 3.5 foot tall groundhog standing there on his hind legs, chewing on the weeds. And I'm like, son of a bitch. You would think in North Carolina this would happen all the time. I had to move to Ohio to have that crap in my backyard. Early warning to any neighbors that are going to buy behind us. Chris is going to get some deer corn.
There's going to be Chris and Audra's nature preserve.
That's right. We don't have to go to the Toledo Zoo. We've got it in the backyard.
We got it in the backyard.
And so everybody knows, I hunt people. I don't hunt animals. So if you have ever watched TikTok, you ever seen the guy that opens his garage door and they're all standing there waiting for the deer corn?
Yeah.
Right.
That is my achievement. I want to open my sliding glass door and all the deer come walking up looking for deer corn. So
nice.
What'd you guys do this weekend?
Well, first, hello to everybody in the chat. Jenny, Everett, Melissa, Miss Lourdes. Thanks for joining in. We appreciate it. We love you guys and appreciate you tuning in every week. So Memorial Day, we had a quiet weekend.
We did. Very quiet.
It was it was actually, we literally
Did nothing.
It was, it was quiet time, right? And then what did we do this past weekend? What did we do Saturday night?
Mine.
The what?
The mine.
The mine. We went to a mine. We went to New Jersey Paranormal. Chris Therian and John Ruggiero, they were hosting a Sterling Hill Mine in North Jersey. They were doing a ghost walk. So we had been wanting to get up to support them and check out the mine. And we had a free weekend, free night, and we made our way up there. And it was cool. They had 2 sessions, and each one was about 90 minutes.
We had some freaky things happen.
And it was, I'll tell you what. And it was weird because usually they had a lot of their stuff because it was like an intro for people just coming in, maybe not new to paranormal and stuff like that. And they had their, different pieces of equipment explaining stuff. So it was nice from our, it was nice just to kind of sit there and watch that and see how they do their presentation and talk with people and guests and attendees. But it was nice not to have like around a bunch of shit.
Yeah, right.
Not to have to carry someone.
We literally had we each had one recorder. We had one digital recorder each, and that was it. But
yeah,
go ahead. What do you tell? We had some, I mean, a lot of EVPs. It had rained, so it was a lot of drippy. But what we had talked about with the drips, hey, Lourdes, and enhancing, amplifying the EVPs and stuff. And we actually had some cool EVPs during the session.
We got yelled at. They told us to get out several times.
Yeah.
We had a light drop out from the ceiling, and we have no idea where the light went or where the light was.
Yeah, it was
weird.
It was the second walk at the end. John, we're in this one section. It's called where there's supposedly a miner who's got a grumpy miner. And we're sitting there doing the EVP session. And then when you go into the area, you have to walk around kind of like wooden beam supports and like, so it's not easy to get in. And then everybody was in there. It was like maybe
I think they said
18 of us. Now, Chris is at the other end with Deb from NJP, and we were sitting there. We're doing the Q&A, and then me and John, and Carmela, we all look. We see a light, and then all of a sudden, we hear Chris say, "What the fuck?"
I saw it.
And we all looked, and we're like, "What the hell?" And we're like, "What's that?"
It was like one of the
It could have been. That's what we were thinking. Like it was possibly a miner's light. And we're like, oh, that wasn't you out there. And Chris is like, no, nobody's fucking.
She was right next to us.
Sitting next to us.
A couple people down.
Yeah. But there was nobody in the area where the freaking light appeared.
But it looked like a long pole to me. Like it looked like it was going straight down.
It was like the beam, maybe almost like looking up. Yeah, like the beam shining up or whatever.
It could have been.
It was wild as frick.
That's
and awesome. Then it just went out. We were all like, what the hell was that? And then John said, oh, it's Chris. She's cleaning up. And she's like, I'm right here.
She's like, it wasn't me. I'm here. Because he's like,
you fool.
Yeah. So, that was pretty cool. And, I mean, we got some decent EVPs and stuff. And it was nice. It was a different type of, even though it was just a kind of informal type of thing, it was pretty neat just to do straight EVPs. And, they did incorporate their equipment and stuff. But for the most part, we heard the growl, right?
Mm-hmm. Down the hallway. That was weird.
So we were like, John had been talking about this and that or whatever. And then we're sitting there in one area and we're like, hey, John, you said there's growls down there. You get growls. I'm like, yeah, we just heard something growl twice down there. And during the one EVP session, I said, hey, if that was you growling down there, what's your name? And what was the response? We thought it said
F off.
F off or back off. Something along that line.
F off, jerk off.
Jerk off, something along those lines.
Something off. He was not happy, to say the least.
Yeah. Whatever it was not happy that we were there.
Wow. Well, imagine working down in those mines all the time. I'd have been pissed off so much too.
And back in he told us when we were talking with him and kind of doing the history, like the mine dates back to like 1600s. From when it opened. Yeah. So it was like, and then they each what? How many candles? They each go
4 candles a piece.
4 candles a piece.
And once that went out, you're screwed.
So if you were stuck down in the mine with, your candles went out, you SOL.
Guys, history lesson. Let me teach you a little secret. In the 1600s, those son of a bitches were chiseling with a sledgehammer and a spike.
Yeah. Yep.
And those candles were usually on the brim of their hat right here.
I didn't know.
The only light they could see was basically where they were striking. Imagine how screwed up those fuckers' hands were.
Right.
And how many times they missed that spike. Because it wasn't until the early 1900s when they started mechanicalizing the drilling effect when they would blow out those holes. Those son of a bitch were chiseling my hand. That's insane.
Yeah. But they didn't know any better, though, right?
Yeah.
That's why he was pissed off.
Yeah, then, probably.
And
being stuck there.
Yeah. And then John had said, when they do the investigations, they do usually an actual investigation. It's like 4 hours. Usually they'll get like the explosions. Like there's a station where they simulate the siren.
We heard it.
The siren and then the actual explosions of the dynamite when they're blown, exploding. Wow. Now, that's just a simulation that they do, but they get the explosions during an investigation. Now, when we listened, both of us, we were listening, doing a review yesterday on some of the EVPs recordings. We actually, John, I got to send it. I haven't sent it to him yet. We actually hear what we think is like a siren going off.
Yeah.
During the recording.
That's pretty cool. Kind of like to the same effect of the sonar and the brass bell that we caught on the USS North Carolina.
Cool.
When none of them were active anymore. So same effect. It's pretty cool. It's awesome the way sound imprints in history because of what happened and how we pick it up as paranormal investigators. That's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. So she talk about me or Todd?
What? Who?
I love that guy so much.
I think she's talking about
maybe John.
Talking about Flower. Yeah.
Oh, the Flower.
Just kidding, Melissa. We love you too, though. So guys, so when we started Stay Haunted, I want to be specific. So Stay Haunted is everything paranormal. We're talking investigators. We will have guests on. Hey, Mary Beth.
Hey, Mary Beth.
Hey, Mary Beth.
We will have shows on like PPIT where they show investigations where they caught evidence. We will have psychics on. We will have mediums on. We will have everything. That's why Stay Haunted is here. Stay Haunted is everything paranormal. And we will bring you guys, we'll bring you shows that blow your socks off. We'll bring you shows that keep them on. And that's neither one's good, neither one's bad. But tonight we've got a really cool guest. We've got Casey Schnese. He's not Lieutenant Dan's. He's not related to Lieutenant Dan at all. But we've got Casey Schnese. He is the lead investigator with Eastern Wisconsin Paranormal and has been investigating now for 5 years. In his 5 years, he's investigated 20 different locations, which we all know as investigators, that's not easy to do in 5 years. He's new in the field, but he's diving into the paranormal field. Everybody say hello to Casey and welcome him as we talk through his 5-year journey in the paranormal. Here we go. Hey, Casey.
Hey, Casey. Welcome.
How's it going?
Say hello to everybody in chat.
Hello, everybody.
So, Casey, tell us. So you've been paranormal investigating now for just about 5 years.
Yep.
You're up in Wisconsin. You're in the cheese state. You're a cheesehead, right?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Tell everybody in the audience what happened 5 years ago that made you go, "Hey, I want to do that."
Well, that's a funny thing. A friend of mine, I gotta give her a lot of credit because she invited me to one of her paranormal events that she did ghost tours for. So she invited me, and I was hooked ever since.
It'll
stopped.
do it.
That was it. Nothing exciting. She invited you, and you were hooked, huh?
Pretty much. I mean, I've had my own experiences at that night, which basically led me to continue doing it.
So did anything happen prior to that got you interested in it, or was just a friend asking one night and you said, "Okay, let's do it," and then, "Oh shit, I'm screwed. I'm stuck."
Well, there were a lot of shows that I was watching as a kid. You know, a lot of people watching Taps and all those guys, which I had a pleasure of meeting. So that was cool. But yeah, one day she asked me to join her and was hooked ever since.
Yeah, sometimes all it is one event is all it takes, Melissa. Absolutely.
Yep. And what was unique about that investigation, I was sitting in one of the haunted hotel rooms, which because we were at a hotel, and my mom was with me that night. And it was a group, obviously. So they were sitting out in the hall. They were talking amongst each other, and one of the girls asked my mom where we were from. I don't have the recording because it wasn't my, investigation or whatever. But upon listening into the spirit box, the spirits actually responded to that question of where we were from.
Oh, that's cool.
And said where we were from.
What did it respond?
When the lady asked my mom where we were from, the spirit box said Appleton, which is where I'm from.
Do you remember what type of spirit box it was, or just
SB7?
SB7? Okay.
Okay, so you were doing a sweep.
Yes.
And it said he said he was from Africa. Did he? So this kind of relates to what we've talked about before on other broadcasts and other podcasts and times that we've talked before too. Is we don't believe that spirits are earthbound, right? They travel as they do. So
yeah.
Where was the investigation again, Casey?
It was, you can look it up. It's called Karsten Nest Hotel in Kewanee, Wisconsin.
In Appleton, is that near there?
I'm about an hour west from Kewanee, so I wasn't too far.
Oh, okay.
And now I'm actually good friends with the owner, so I can go there anytime I want.
Very nice.
And
it's nice to make that connection.
For everybody watching, Chris is half deaf. So
we just let that go right. Woo!
Yeah, Casey said Appleton. Chris heard Africa.
Same thing.
Can you hear me, Chris?
Africa,
Appleton. It's close. Close proximity.
Nigeria, Germany, Ireland.
It's all good.
It's all good. Hey, as long as you have a passport, you can go anywhere you want.
That's right. You're good. That's good.
So Casey, I know I'm going to ask you this question again, but when we were backstage before the show, Wisconsin, we know cheese and dairy farming and stuff like that. Really does to me, I wouldn't think paranormal screams to you.
No, it really does unless you know the people that do it.
Okay. But I mean, I guess it's like anything else. There's history. There's, Native Americans. There's areas,
Yep.
that are, that have activity.
Our area is big on Indian areas.
So
So to be specific, you're saying Native American, not taxi driver?
No. You got the Menominee tribe.
There you go.
You got the Oneida Nation tribe. I think there's maybe one more, but those are the two main ones that I know.
Okay.
But there could be more.
So have you had, during the investigations that you've gone over the past 5 years, have you found that the experiences you've had have been more kind of paranormal, I guess, in the fact of spirit, or kind of like Native American spirit activity, I guess, versus like, ghost, quote unquote ghost?
For me, combination, really. Like, I guess you could say I do like encounter my ancestors once in a while when I'm investigating, but that's more like a protection type thing. So it just depends on the location I go to, really.
Right. So what are some of the locations, that you've investigated before?
I've actually got the pleasure of investigating Sheboygan State Asylum.
Sheboygan.
Yeah.
Sheboygan.
That's a new one.
Yeah, that's a massive location. You can look it up online.
Right.
When I did that investigation, that was my very first biggest location I've done. Like you know how big asylums are, or some of them.
Right.
This one was like 3-4 wings and 4 floors.
All right.
On top of a few buildings, they've got tunnels. They got tunnels under there even. So it's a big place.
Finally get someone in my neck of the woods. Mary Beth, are you out? Is that where you're at? Wisconsin, Mary Beth? So when you investigated there, what type of experience, what was the most memorable experience that you had when you investigated there?
For there, I was there probably from 7 p.m. till like 7 a.m. So we were there pretty much all night.
Right.
that night, my shoulder was hurting to the point where I needed ibuprofen. Halfway through the night, I didn't even have to take it.
What do you think? What do you think caused that, Casey?
I think maybe one of the nurses attended to it.
Yeah.
Spiritual wise, I don't know.
Really?
Because I felt like I was touched there in that area, and then it just the pain dissipated from there. So I don't know. It was interesting.
So, did you hear any disembodied voices? Did you do EVPs? Did you see any type of shadow figures?
Shadow figures there, I have not. We heard a lot of the bangs and that kind of stuff. I did hear a couple of disembodied voices, but they didn't show up on the recorder, unfortunately, which kind of sucks. But
right. So let me ask you this, because I know my first experience, or when you hear that disembodied voice for the first time, was it there or was it somewhere else? Because I know the first time we heard it, we were at a local prison that dates back to 1800s or whatever. And we heard it was like a growl or something. And it was, I forget exactly what it was, but it was like,
it was calling me names.
It was like calling her names or something. And then it's like, when you hear it and you're like, you hear it, but then you're like trying to process, like, did I really just hear that? Like with my own ears? And it's like, what the fuck type of moment. So
that's what it was like when I first heard it. From there, like every location I go to, except for 2, I've had my name called. On recording, I've had my name called.
Have you caught it?
Yes, every single one except 2. I just
Wow.
don't have it on my computer anymore because my computer crashed. So
And is this at Sheboygan State, or are you talking about different investigations that you've done?
Different investigations in 2 locations that have not said my name, and I'm thankful for it. One's the asylum that I just talked about. 2, Old Juliet Prison. That's another location I did not get my name called, thankfully.
Okay. So aside from the asylum, what other locations are that? Listen, we're open to travel. So
right.
What would be what would, if somebody was passing through Wisconsin, what would be, obviously the asylum, any other locations that might be on a to-do list, so to speak, for a paranormal investigator?
Yes. There's an old tannery. I don't know if you guys know what that is.
So animal hides, right?
They used to make leather at that location.
Okay.
And it used to be an old cranberry factory before it burned down. So there's 2 things there, which is kind of cool. It's called the Berlin Tannery.
Okay.
So you guys can look it up.
Okay. How long was that in? Do you know how long that was in operation?
I would say 1800s.
Okay. So it's got some history to it.
Yeah. It does. It's a very old building. I actually do haunted tours there now too.
You do personally?
Haunted attraction tours, yeah.
So tell our audience a little bit about that, Casey. What do you do there for the haunted attraction and the haunted tour?
Well, for me, they have a little spot. You know how bookcases are, right? On the other side of it, there's a big opening where someone can go behind there because you can see everybody that goes through that hallway. And I'm sitting back there and I'm scaring the living crap out of people. Pushing books through, and I had one kid. I think I scared the crap out of him to the point where he was he was staring right at me, and then he'd move his head, and I move his head, my head, same and it just scared the crap out of him. He's like, I'm done.
Now, me personally, that warms my heart because, I love Halloween. I know, Chris, you love Halloween. There's nothing better than scaring the crap out of a little kid.
I
know it's not all right.
Oh, hang on now. I like scaring the shit out of people. I didn't narrow it down to children.
All right, maybe not little kids, more teenage. All right, I'm more teenage.
Todd's evil. Listen to Todd.
I actually scared a couple. I actually scared a couple of grown adults.
See, Mary Beth thought it was funny.
Well, this couple came in, and I had to go through a different way to get inside the building because one of the guests locked the door on me by accident. Because when you shut it, it automatically locks. I'm on the outside, so I had to go to the other side to open that door. And I was waiting for it because the owner had to come unlock it for me. So I went to go to the person that was checking everybody in. I'm standing there with my Packer jacket on, just standing there. Where I was standing, my jacket was glow in the dark. That's how it looked. And the guy didn't know I was behind him.
Well, hang on. You had a glow in the dark Packers jacket on, and the guy didn't know you were standing behind him.
No, he did not know I was standing behind him. He did not know.
I would have seen you with the Packer jackets on.
Yeah.
Let alone a glow in the dark. What the hell?
Right?
He didn't know I was there because the lady that was checking him in didn't say nothing because she saw me. So she's playing along. She's like, So as they're done checking in, because the light where I was a white light, so it's kind of dimming into the green. So it's kind of like a glow like the background of your guys'. Right. So it was funny because he turned around I don't even think he even seen my face until the last minute. And I think that's what scared the crap out of him because he didn't see me standing there. He thought it was just a jacket on a hanger.
Hey, no offense, Casey. I know you're from Minnesota. I know you're a Green Bay fan, but the Packers jacket would have scared the shit out of me too.
Right. But yeah, those are fun nights. The last night of that weekend, I actually got the idea of I'm going to dress all in black. I'm going to sit in the corner. Everybody comes in. I'm just going to take a fake hand and just touch them. It worked.
To make people jump out of their skin, no doubt.
They're not expecting it.
They're not.
No.
Well, not when you're doing a paranormal investigation. The last thing you think you're going to see is a guy like Casey, named after Lieutenant Dan, come and grab you with a fake hand, wearing a glow-in-the-dark Packers jacket.
Scary.
That'd scare the shit out of anybody.
That's scary.
Pretty much.
Yep. Yep. And then my significant other, she was with us, and she was down. They had a salon, so they dressed her up makeup wise to where she was. It looked like she was hit with a bottle.
Oh no.
That's how she looked. So afterwards, of course, she couldn't take the makeup off.
Right.
We go to the gas station. And I told her, I said, and we knew the workers at this gas station, so I already knew their reaction was gonna be. I told her, I said, they're gonna say, "What the fuck?" when we walk in. Sure enough, one of the girls that knows us, she looks at her, she looks at me, she's like, "What the fuck did you do?"
Jeez.
I didn't do nothing.
Wasn't me.
Yeah, we were at a haunted attraction. She's like, "Oh, that explains it." But yeah, her first reaction was like, "What did I do? I didn't do nothing to her."
So Casey, tell us about. So you've told us about Sheboygan Asylum, and just the name alone makes you go crazy, right? Sheboygan.
Yep.
Sheboygan.
mean,
Yeah.
It's
didn't have that name on my bingo card for.
No, I did not have that on my bingo card at all. But it's fun to fucking say it. Sheboygan.
Maybe.
Sheboygan Asylum. I mean, just the two together spells crazy, right? So,
Yeah,
Casey, tell us. So you put in your bio that you've done some private investigations. Tell us about those.
So yeah, the tannery, I've done that a couple times. That was actually my first location where I saw my first shadow figures.
Was he wearing a Packers jacket?
No.
Okay.
Nope. We were downstairs in one of the rooms, and the corner where the door was, where the electric or the exit sign is. You know what those look right, correct?
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
So the lighting underneath
Tells you how to get the fuck out is what it does.
Yeah. Well, it didn't scare me. It scared my fiance, but
All right.
But it scared me none. It was just pacing back and forth, and no one else saw it but me. So that was kind of cool.
That's awesome.
And then when I was talking about it to the owner, my REM pod started going off at that same moment. So I'm like, I guess they're validating. I see them.
Okay.
But yeah.
Well, speaking of equipment? So what is your go-to piece of equipment that you use mostly during investigation?
Keep it clean, Casey.
My personal one that I like is the millimeter. Mine's the millimeter REM pod combination device.
All right. Right. Yeah. We have one. We use it.
And also my REM pod. Those are the two main ones that I go to.
Okay.
No.
So the millimeter REM pod, what does that do? Do you get the air, the weather, the humidity on that one too, or no?
It's got the lights of a REM pod. It's got the antenna. It's got the weather on it, like the 74, and then it's got on top of that there's enough where if you move around, it'll tell you like 1 point this, 1 point that type thing. So it's got that. So it's a multi device that I have. I love it.
Now, on that millimeter that you have, what is that? Is that the EMF? It tells you the different EMF levels. Is that what it is? Oh, okay.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, we have a millimeter in it. Yeah, so it has the temperature, REM pod feature, and then it
to the different level of milligauss, right?
Milligauss. Yep. If you hear slurping, that would be our dog. That's not Carmela or I.
I kind of figured that.
If you heard something like going, wasn't us.
Hey, y'all, we have How You Doing?
We're battling, Chris.
Woo!
Look at that. The best part is how we zoom in and zoom out.
Hello, Mr. Simonelli. Mr. Forget About It.
Mm-hmm.
So
I heard you had cannolis without us. That wasn't nice.
That's bullshit.
Hey, Ron.
Casey, you know Ron?
I do.
That's right. Basically, Ron, you connected with us to get on the show, correct?
Yes, he was the connection to get me on your show.
So have you seen the TDSA experiment that Ron does with the digital seance? Have you seen that at all?
No, I haven't.
Oh. Bigger question is, do you and your group plan on going to Gettysburg Bash?
I'm wanting to. It's just the financial part of it. I was lucky and fortunate to be going to the Michigan Paracon for 5 years before they closed that down. So, yeah, it was.
Is the dog running behind you, Chris?
No, Audra's cat is up here.
See, you're the animal whisperer.
Yeah, Audra's downstairs not feeling well, and the damn cat's up here meowing. I'm like, what the hell?
You got cats, you got rabbits, you got
groundhogs.
Well, we said she was, I want to say Aurora. She brings all the animals.
Right. The animals.
As Ron would say, she's what does he call her? Alice in Wonderland. Yeah.
Yes.
So Casey, what other thing does your group do?
Far as what in your investigation? What do you mean?
Anything paranormal? You guys do privates? You guys do public investigations? Is there anything outside of that your group does?
We're starting at the Berlin Tannery. That's where we are also starting our ghost tours there. We just started doing that. So, but yeah,
when are those tours?
It's usually when he's available to do them, that he has to be there. And he's pretty busy, so whenever he's not busy, then he'll call us and set it up and then go from there. But
so, hey Casey, so before in the backstage we were talking. So you said you started to practice Reiki?
Yep.
So how long have you been practicing that?
I would say probably about a year and a half.
So how did you get into Reiki?
One day, this was interesting. One day, and this is how it all started. Actually, there's a haunted cemetery in my town, and a friend of mine, her and I went in and just had that, those electrical jolts you get, like energy-wise, not.
Oh, you mean during an investigation?
No, we walked in and we were just trying to find someone, like her husband, one of his family members. We were trying to find their grave. He went off, we went somewhere else. I was actually led to a certain grave, which this person I never knew, never met. But yeah, it led to his grave, and I've been visiting his grave ever since. Which now,
and what drew you to him? What drew you to his grave?
I don't know. It just when I walked in, because I'm also an empath as well, so maybe.
Oh, so something inside drew you to it. It's not like you tripped over the shit or anything, right?
Right. Yeah. So and now ironically he follows me everywhere I go.
Really? See.
Yep. Every location I go that I investigate, he follows.
Wow. So you went to the cemetery, you found the grave, you started getting some responses, and now you're getting him responding to you at other locations?
Yep. We've done a lot of not private investigation, but because we can't go there during the evening because it's locked down, you can't get in. And if you do, you'll get caught. So they got cameras all over the place. So we try to do our mini ones during the day.
Oh, so you're getting responses from this guy, and he's following you during daytime hours.
Yep. No.
So this relates to what we've talked about in the past, to where a haunting is a haunting. It doesn't matter if it's at night. It doesn't matter if it's during the daytime. You're going to get responses. You're going to get EVPs. You're going to catch some evidence, whether it's daylight or it's night or.
Yep.
That's interesting that you actually go to a cemetery and you're actually getting somebody that's connected with you, and that I hate to say chasing, but he's following you.
This is the weird part. Like, he fought World War I. My grandfather on my dad's side fought World War II. Now here's the kicker. My grandfather and his name, the guy that follows me, his name and my grandfather's name is the same name.
First name, last name, or the whole name?
First name. They're both named Harvey.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Is there any connection to like the years they were born or where they were born or?
My grandfather was born in Appleton. I think I don't know where he was born. I'd have to look that up. But he was he lived here in Appleton. So
okay, so you're in Appleton, Wisconsin too.
Yes.
Okay.
So
not Africa like Chris thought earlier.
Not like Africa like you thought earlier. No, definitely not. So quick question, talking about cemeteries. I have to ask a quick question, Mr. Allgood. Have you and Audra had the chance to take that 5 or 8 minute drive down to investigate the cemetery?
We haven't had time to do shit with all the house stuff that's going on.
I thought I'd ask, you know.
Close. We are close.
It's just a drive. That's all.
Yeah, I gotta get out. I deal with crazy people all day long. I need to deal with some dead people.
I hear you. Yeah. Sometimes they're easier to deal with.
Right.
So
yeah. What's up?
So Casey, so the Reiki, going back to that. Sorry, I had to step out. I was having a cough.
Oh, that's okay.
So the Reiki. So you said for a couple of years you had been practicing. So what is there? It's new to me. So what can you, somebody like myself or Carmel and I, can you kind of just give us an overview of what entails or how how exactly you practice it?
I mean, it's hard to explain, but I guess what I've learned from it is we're all connected through energy.
Right.
So when I'm doing that, it amplifies that energy connection, which then the healing thing is also just, it's hard to explain, really.
I hear it. We were talking a little bit earlier. So you have some Native American, right?
Yep. Yep.
So do you think that helps you when doing the Reiki to kind of channel maybe ancestors' history or anything like that to when you practice it?
I haven't done history on that, but I'm pretty sure there's some kind of a connection between it.
And what tribe are you? Is your heritage?
Oneida.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were they the predominant tribe in that area where you're at?
Actually, I thought so, but actually, no. The tribe itself is originally from New York, but they established.
That's commute.
Yeah,
Really?
They came up here, and it's now their base is out here now.
Okay.
But they're originally from the New York area.
All right.
That's
curious. So how long? I mean, how long did they go from New York, or how long of a time period from when they went to start? We're in New York, and then they went out to where you're at.
I'm sure it took days, Todd.
Yeah, I don't know how long they've been established here.
Right.
But I found that out through my brother. So that was kind of interesting.
Okay, Casey. So we're getting close to our hour, and in about 6 minutes, they take over and they move to their next broadcast for UNX. Tell everybody where they can find your group, what you guys got coming up in the near future, where your haunted walks are, how long the haunted walks are, and approximately what the haunted walks cost, and where can they find you at the Sheboygan Asylum?
I don't do it at the Sheboygan Asylum for the walks. The one I do is the Berlin Tannery.
Okay.
That's where I do the walks at, the tours at. So, I mean, you can look that up, and the owner would contact me for those tours. You can look up my team name on Facebook. I have a Facebook page, I think.
And what is that? That's under Eastern Wisconsin Paranormal?
Yep, Eastern Wisconsin Paranormal Group. It should be on there. I can send you guys a link.
Yeah, we could drop that in the comment section for anybody.
You can drop that in the comment section, so when the live goes out and people come back and watch the live.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I can send it in a few minutes.
And that's where people can contact you for the Reiki and stuff like that too, Casey?
Yeah, and I don't charge for that, just because the results vary from person to person. So I don't charge for that. So.
Well, that's awesome. Well, Casey, thanks again for coming on. We appreciate it, and I hope that everybody got a chance to get to know Casey a little bit, and they can find him on his Facebook page at Casey Schnese. Not Gary Schnese.
Nope.
Not Lieutenant Dan. Casey has legs. He's broken them a couple times, but he has legs. That's right. Casey can walk. Lieutenant Dan has legs.
Yes, he does.
He does now.
All right, guys. Thank you so much, Casey, for joining us. Make sure that you share so all your friends can take a look at your show with us tonight. Guys, we'll be back next week. We've got a special guest for you guys. We've got a very special guest for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Did we know about this special guest? Yes.
So we, like I said in the beginning, guys, we bring on investigators. We bring on different people. We bring on everything paranormal. We are going to have Audra's little sister Shannon on next week.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And she's going to tell you about some of the experiences that she's had investigating with Audra and I. You know, Audra comes to you guys with 15 years experience since we started dating, right? And then I come to you with, good Lord, I'm way too old. Going on 30 years of experience investigating. We actually took Shannon on an investigation with us to the cemetery that's only 12 minutes from us, called the Tautogany Cemetery. It's listed as one of the most haunted cemeteries in the Midwest, in the upper echelon, just before you get to Canada in Ohio here. And I will show you some of the stuff that we caught. We will talk with Shannon. We will talk about what it's like to be on an investigation for the first time with people that have experience and have done investigations, and how she experienced it and what she felt and how she went through that. So guys, that'll be really cool. You will actually get to meet somebody that is directly related to Audra.
Woohoo!
And she'll be sitting here if we can fit her in my office.
I was going to say, how are you going to squeeze? You're going to squeeze through people?
Yeah, you could do it.
We're gonna try and squeeze all three of us in. I don't know how that's gonna fucking work, but we're gonna do it.
It'll work.
We will make it work so we get you guys going for next week's show. Guys, thank you so much for coming out. Casey, thank you for being a part of the show.
Thank you very much, Casey. We appreciate it. It was fun chatting with you.
It was very nice. Guys, remember, if you want to investigate with Lieutenant Dan's cousin, Casey, you gotta go. You gotta go to Wisconsin. You gotta be a cheesehead. You gotta wear that. You gotta wear that glow-in-the-dark Packers jacket so you can scare the shit out of people in Sheboygan Asylum. You gotta go do the fucking haunted walks with Casey, guys. But most of all, you gotta stay haunted. All right, guys. We will see you next week. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.